Hey everybody,
What's up, guys?
welcome to the IronTrap podcast. Here we are.
The least energetic, just like, we're
Hey
here.
guys, we're exhausted. It's been a busy summer, so
Yeah.
so we are doing a podcast. We'll get the normal stuff out of the way because we feel like we're still training some of our viewers
And listeners.
and listeners, that you can listen to this on Spotify.
Yep. Apple podcasts, a bunch of different places.
Yeah, any of those outlets, and YouTube now allows you to also like listen, but you can also watch it. So if you're just kind of a YouTube person only, you can watch our ugly mugs in the podcast. Us just BSing every now and then. Moon smashes in or something happens.
Snores.
Yeah, who knows what's going on. So so that's that. Podcast topics we have coming up. It's pretty good. We're trying to be thoughtful about when we do some of these with timing. As far as what's going on around here and all that kind of stuff, we have. Go ahead.
Keep an eye out for next Sunday. We have a pretty cool video of a car we just drug home.
Oh, yeah.
Not going to go into too much detail about it. We'll save it for that video. But next Sunday, we're actually...
Cool story.
Yeah.
Cool story with that one. The car's neat,
Yes.
but the story is pretty cool.
Yeah. So we're going to do a premiere on that one on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So Sunday morning at 7, the video will premiere, and there'll be a live chat. I will be up bright and early, talking back and forth with everyone in the chat. So we'll have the video up, and YouTube will send a reminder out and everything. But next Sunday, join us for the premiere of that video, and we can discuss in the video chat section.
Yeah, and if you guys like that, we did it when we did the Larry Schroll estate, and it was actually kind of successful, pretty successful. Yeah. If you guys kind of like that idea with when we do some of these adventure videos, the whole idea with that is we noticed it in the comments. Sometimes you can tell when people are commenting, and they're actually commenting on videos multiple times like it's a live chat. So it's like if we did the live chat thing and people could actually do that, you're kind of like, as you're seeing what's going on, you can react to it. And also, if Mike or myself's in the chat, we can kind of like answer a quick question. And it's just a fun way to do it. We're not going to do it on every video, but if we do it on some of these adventure videos, I think it would be pretty neat. So that is the idea, and if you like it.
And in the future, if these do become more popular, we might do the premiere later in the day, like 11, 12 o'clock, so ever more people can watch it. But for this Sunday, this coming Sunday, we'll be at Wheels of Time. So it'll be a little hard for me to sit there at 12 o'clock, get internet access. And
Yeah.
So we're just going to do 7 a.m. for this one. And in the future, we might do a lunchtime premiere so everyone can join in a lot more around the world.
Yeah. So we're always trying to think of new ideas and different ways to do stuff that's fun to interact and also is enjoyable, hopefully, for you to watch, listen, and interact. So that's going on. We have that 38 coupe is still available, but we're a previous customer has shown some interest in it, but we have not. It hasn't left yet.
Haven't made a deal.
Like we tell everybody, it's if the car's still here, it's still for sale. So we have that thing. It's a really good start to a project. It's fair. It's very dry, and a good bit of the not fun work was already done and started on it. So if you're thinking of a fat fender project, that's a good one.
Always wanted a dirt car. It's a
dirt car, but not too banged up.
No, but if you want to build a dirt car, it's like the perfect slap a flathead in it and go.
Yeah, true.
Rub fenders with some other vintage stock cars.
And we have that 39 convertible coupe. We had a lot of people ask about it. We probably put a little bit of a stiff price on it because for what it is currently, because there's so much money wrapped up in getting it to that point. So we will be selling that car. It just didn't have a lot of interest. We had some interest, but nobody had a serious offer that we let it go as is. So we'll probably be working on that, and some of that's going to tie into our discussion today. We were kind of talking about, do we spend the next month or so or have Steve work on it for the next month or so, and myself, getting it ready to maybe put out for sale at Hershey. Not sure yet, but
Yeah.
that's one of the things we're starting to think about Hershey and Carlisle in August. Sometimes we're talking about it even earlier in the year.
We kind of really talk about it all year.
All year, because for us it's a big thing of making sure we have the right stuff or setting stuff aside or whatever. So yeah, that thing's around. If you have any interest in it, hit us up. We are going through the parts from that estate still. Mike had gotten a lot of emails, and this happens a lot with these kind of like focused 1 or 2 year body style only estates, where we get the emails that are like, I need the clip for the left front fender on 39 Deluxe only. And it's like, I get that that's hard to find and we may have it, but it's very hard for us to turn up your one piece of trim or clip or whatever that is very small and obscure. So I apologize if we don't give you the customer service that you would like, but do you realize that we have thousands of items that are in wire racks, that are in cardboard boxes, that are in
Another building,
and in a little baggie that's all the way in the bottom. Imagine like that first or last scene from like Indiana Jones, where they're pushing the crate and then they pan back out and there's like thousands of crates. That's kind of us, but they're on a smaller scale. So we do try and make a list of people that are requesting items, but things do fall through the cracks. So we always tell people, if you're really, really that hard looking for it, just check in with us every now and then. Like if Mike didn't get back to you and it's been months, or you watch our content and see that we're starting to talk about going through that stuff, then send another email. It's not going to hurt anything. And worst that's going to happen is Mike said, I didn't get to those bins yet. But a squeaky wheel with us definitely, if it's something that's hard to find like that, it will be helpful, because it may put in the back of our head more to get back with you. And especially if it's something that obscure, it may be hard for us to find a buyer, because if it's one item or one side, you're the person that needs it. So.
And also keep it on our website. I mean, we're constantly, I try to list 20 to 25 items a day every night. So just keep it on our website. There's new stuff up there all the time. And it should, when you go to our parts section, it should populate newest to oldest. So anything that we get listed should be right on the first couple pages. So just keep it on there. There's always hopefully something you need there right now.
Hopefully. And we'll be ramping up. Probably the other news, we'll be ramping up some of that, and hopefully the customer service, answering emails, getting phone calls, getting back to people better, and more items listed. We'll be hopefully ramping up even more. We'll be having a new employee starting officially in September. So we've had Luke. I guess this is the first time we're talking about it. Luke has been a viewer for a long time and has been, visiting us and stopping at all the shows and talking to us. And this summer he showed some interest in becoming an employee. And I think he very quickly proved himself that he was the right fit for what we were looking for. So we weren't actively putting a job listing on. Like, if you guys ever notice, we don't put like public job listings.
We don't have a job posting on LinkedIn or Monster.
No, because I think it's so specialized what we do. A lot of what it is like you gotta come around, hang around, even just help part-time or here and there, because we've had some guys that help part-time occasionally, and they're great help. They're just not somebody that for a full-time gig, or that a lot of it is like personality and your mindset and whatever. So like somebody that's a little more laid back is definitely our vibe here. Not high strung. I'm the high strung one out of everybody. But yeah, so Luke came around. He's been helping a little bit in the end of the summer here, middle end of the summer, and he's been doing great. He's actually created some of the freight shipments.
Yeah, I actually just sent a 32 Roadster body. He took the initiative, and I was like, "Hey man, I need you to create this." He goes, "Okay, just show me what you want, and I'll get it all done." And the thing is super solid.
Yeah, so that's the stuff that I'm trying to get my hands less. involved in every, like, I don't need to be holding the piece of plywood for Mike to put the crate together, because there's a lot of things that are getting dropped on my end, that should be done. And then Mike's the same thing. He's things, because he's overwhelmed, he's not getting back to you guys for, email requests or different things like that. Or, he can't answer the phone as often as we'd like because he's holding a piece of plywood, putting your crate together, and his other foot is taping up a box over here. So it's
got a screw gun in one hand and a tape gun in the other hand.
Yeah, so if we can have another person helping, and it's the direction we're going is ramping up just a little bit. I'm not looking to have like 50 employees. We just need enough to be a little less overwhelmed, because now that we ramped everything up a little bit more, we're now super overwhelmed. We were busy before, but now that we ramped up, especially doing the mill and stuff, I need to be focusing on like the next steps for doing the mill and all that. So I'm kind of at the mill doing physical work, but also, contractors going to the borough and different stuff like that, and trying to organize things for getting that all set up. And it's like, I actually, unfortunately, right now, I can't be as involved with the parts stuff as I'd like.
Yeah, because this winter, Matt was spending time after work helping me go through parts, and we were like blasting through pallets of parts. And then with the mill, that kind of tapered off, and we're getting to that point now where it's like our backlog of inventory is just consistently grown and grown. I was talking to someone the other day, and I was like, there's probably 40 between all the bins and all the pallets. There's probably 45 pallets of just overstock stuff we haven't even looked at.
And there's you imagine how many boxes and stuff is packed in that, and it's kind of crazy and not frustrating, but it's crazy. So Luke came in. He's going to be starting. It actually worked out really, really nice, because Ryan, our part-time helper, and before we get into the actual topic, it's kind of neat. We had a couple experiences just recently that, now that we've been doing this a while. So number one, Ryan, which you guys saw in the videos a little bit, he didn't really do like a proper introduction or anything, but Ryan was started out as literally, he was pretty 14. No, he was driving. No, he was 16 or 17. 17. I think he was like 16 when he first started coming around. He had just started driving, I think. When he first came around, Ryan came around with his mom, and him came by, and I think they emailed us, and I was very hard to get a hold of.
He was friends with Luke.
Yes, Luke.
Luke.
Yeah, different Luke. So we had Luke that was started out as our high school helper. Our friend Kevin that was a tech teacher in our area and also a Boy Scout troop leader, brought him by, and he showed interest. He helped for a few years, went on to college, and now I just saw him the other day. He's in like his second or third year of college, and he's like a damn grown man. It's kind of crazy watching these. That's what I'm getting at, watching younger people, and it's very satisfying to me. Now, that Luke is not going the automotive route whatsoever, but he was able to get an experience, like a real job for the first time with us, kind of. Ryan was literally the same thing. Like, he started out, and he was so inexperienced, and I was so hesitant with him because we made him just come around for like a whole year just helping for free, because I kind of said to him and his parents, like, he doesn't even, he doesn't have any experience even mechanically enough that I can give him anything that I can pay him. So he was like sweeping the floor, putting bolts away, and as time went on, he got more experience. And then here at the end, he was packing boxes, he was helping me with stuff at the building, scraping shingles, and Ryan was great. He was a good example of he had the right attitude, and he was brought up right, that he was kind of like, he just did whatever we said, and he wasn't like, he didn't have an attitude. He wasn't.
There was a couple days him and I worked at the mill, and it was like
miserable,
almost 100 degrees. We were in the sun all day, and you could tell he was not annoyed, just like
over it.
But he didn't like fuck this or give me any shit. He was just like, "Do you need me to move those body panels?" Okay, and he just did his thing.
Same with scraping shingles off a wall.
And, I mean, last summer he helped us basically move the entire from the other warehouse to here. I had him pack almost 90% of it probably. So
that's really cool to see that kind of progression. Mm-hmm. And again, he's another one. I think he wants to be an engineer. He's probably not going to, we were joking with him yesterday on his last day. Like, he kind of got to experience what some people would make you want to do this kind of life that we have, and then other people it's like, I probably would like a more like standardized job.
I'd like to sit in the air conditioning all day.
Yeah. So I think it's cool because he got to experience a lot of that. As not to make it as ground earth shattering as it is, but it's like some memories and stuff that like when he has kids and he's an adult, he'll be like, man, I was scraping shingles off a 1800s barn when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like we're giving those moments that we all have from when we were kids and doing our first jobs. Like we're now doing that, and hopefully they're good ones. They're not terrible ones. So he was basically going away to school. Luke has been helping, and kind of we saw the need instantly and how the help would be. So we're going to start Luke in the beginning of September full time.
He's Luke number 2 for reference.
Luke number 2. He will be the Luke. I don't think we'll have other Luke's been away for long enough. So this Luke is a car guy. Again, not necessarily an early Ford guy. Chevy, mainly kind of Chevy, right?
Started at Mopar. Now he has a 60s Chevy.
Yeah, so he's, again, kind of like Steve is. He's not necessarily... We don't necessarily have to have somebody that knows early Fords from day one. He has the interest, and he knows cars very well, and he's mechanical. So he's going to pick this stuff up very quickly, much like Mike did. Mike started out, didn't know anything about early Fords, and now he knows as much or more than I do. Memory-wise, definitely more than I do. So that's what's kind of going on with that stuff. It's exciting. So if you start getting emails or phone calls answered from Luke, that's what's going on. Do not be upset if you can't talk to me. I've already phased a lot of that out. Like any business, I can't run the business or work on the next stages of the business if I'm answering your phone call to tell you how to set your juice brakes up on your 39 Ford. It just can't. It doesn't work that way. I can't run a business, so you're going to have to deal with Mike or Luke.
My favorite thing is when people are like, "Can I talk to Matt?" No, you cannot. How can I help you today?
Yeah, and I don't know why, unless it's something with an estate that I need to handle because it's a business transaction. I can't be doing that. So I have stepped away quite a bit. It's not anything personal. It's literally anyone that's grown a business knows that this is how it needs to happen. So Luke is very, very good, very easygoing. I think you guys will.
If you come to Hershey and Carlisle, I'm sure he will be at the booth for a couple days. So the big thing with Luke is we're now able to when Matt and I travel or we do these swap meets, we have to put our eBay store on pause. We still sell items, but they don't ship. It's marked as it's not going to ship for like 7 to 10 days. So now with Luke, we're able to continue selling and shipping parts on a regular basis to avoid that. Our sales drop off big time whenever we put the store on pause. So
and we miss we do nowadays get a lot of people picking up in person.
Yeah.
So there's been lots of instances where someone has called us or emailed looking to pick a part up while we're away traveling, and then they need it, so instead of getting it from us, they go somewhere else or whatever. So it's
they're also traveling. Like, I'm going to be through the area on Wednesday. I'm like, well, we're in Texas. And I don't know what to tell you.
And that person might have wanted to buy a pair of fenders that were $1,000 or something. So it's like we want to be more available, and the idea of potentially opening like a storefront type situation that also gives another person to kind of watch over that, so we can. Between the three of us, we can kind of juggle some of that so that I don't think we're going to have gangbusters Walmart type situation. So I think if there's just somebody always around the building, that if a customer comes in, we can go up and greet them and whatever. And he's there, we're there, so it'll be really cool. So definitely, if you see Luke, shake his hand, tell him hello, make him feel welcome. We'll probably do a proper in a week in a life of, we'll integrate him. I'd say he's a little on the shy side, but
kind of like how Steve was when he first started, just reserved.
Yeah, so don't feel a certain way. He's not. He didn't grow up. He didn't do his previous career like myself with on camera and being in the public. So he definitely not as outgoing. No, I shouldn't even say outgoing. I just don't think he's not
had a camera shoved in his face all this time. Yeah.
So anyways, that's enough of that. So that's some stuff going on. And Wheels of Time, last thing is right now, right?
Yeah. Well, no, this comes out Sunday. Wheels of Time is on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes. So Wheels of Time is this coming week. Macungie, Pennsylvania, Wheels of Time Street Rod Association, the Rod and Custom Jamboree. We can even put a little link in.
Yeah, I'll put the link down below.
Put the link in. It's a really fun event. Kind of like I've mentioned a few times. It's a used to be a ridiculously big street rod show. It's still a big show, especially in our area. And while it is the same kind of idea as like a Good Guys, it's more of a it feels like a big party or hangout kind of situation.
Yeah.
It's not as stuffy. There's definitely the people with the higher end show cars that are sitting there a certain way, but it's more of like, it feels like a big picnic or hangout session.
Like a family reunion almost.
Yeah, and it's like it's like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Definitely the best days are Friday or Saturday. If you're remotely local and you want to come out, it's worth coming out. I don't know if it's something I'd travel from California to go, because it's not that extraordinary, but if you're somewhat local, it's a good time. We've been doing it for a while now with the club. They set up a big tent for us. We bring 4 or 5 cars, and then we have other people that similar type cars park all around us, and our tent has started to become kind of like, if you're into the perfectly shitty or you're into traditional retro nostalgic types cars and stuff, you can
It's the place for you.
It's a place for you. If you can squeeze your car in around us, you're welcome to. Or if you park nearby and you want to just come and bring a chair and hang out, you're welcome to. That's what's really fun. It's now become a meeting place for like-minded people, and there's people sitting all over the booth. We're not even necessarily talking. There's like 2 or 3 guys over here in the corner talking about something completely different. So it's just fun. So.
Pete's always in the corner by his car holding court with a large
dozen
group.
people. Yeah. So make sure Pete's always there, and he is a wealth of knowledge and great to say hello to as well. He loves it. So definitely.
Pete was involved in the very beginning of that show, so he knows like literally everyone.
It's
just a constant rotation of old dudes just coming by to see Pete. It's so funny to watch.
He's the mayor of McCungy, we say.
The
McCungy Park. Mayor of McCungy Park. But we'll have Pete's car, his convertible there. Sedan delivery will be there. The theme is all black cars this year. We do jokingly a theme every year. So the DeLorean car, the sedan delivery, the Mercury, Pete's car is black. So that'll probably be enough.
It's always as Matt and I were driving, we drove to Ohio earlier. What was that, 2 days ago? Yeah. We were like trying to work out the logistics because Steve takes off for this show. He's been doing it for years. So they have like a rope off party. He takes off Thursday. So Thursday we have to take a bunch of the cars, and Matt and I were driving like logistically trying to figure out how to move all the cars between us without getting stuck at McCungy or here without a ride back. It was like,
and we're trying to do it with as few trips. So it's like I don't care about trailing our car. It's like so if we bring some of the stuff for the booth and a car in the trailer and your pickup, and then I drive behind you in one of the old cars, and then we get a ride, and it's like, how do we do this? I just want to save as few trips to get it done and set up. That's like my least favorite part of all these. That's why we don't do a lot of big events, because I just don't feel like jockeying around all the stuff. So that's what we have to figure out. But yeah, it'll be a good time.
Yeah, definitely.
If you guys can make it, definitely come out and say hello, and that'll be the deal. We'll be set up next to the registration tent in the front. We are not in the swap meet. We're in the actual show.
Yes.
So we know every year we have people that say they can't find us. Next to the registration tent. If you ask where that's at, somebody can tell you. We're right next to it. You'll see a bunch of crappy cars sitting there, and that's us.
And we'll have our big IronTrap flags up so you can find us.
Yes. So today's topic, I already forgot what today's topic is.
Well, Wheels of Time is kind of our initiation into the fall car show season. Fall, very loosely. But
end
from
of summer, fall.
End of summer into fall. Because from Wheels of Time to Hershey, there is almost a major event for us every weekend from Wheels of Time till the very end of Hershey. So this kind of jumps off our fall swap meet and car show season. And the end of our swap meet season is the 2 biggest events that we do, Fall Carlisle and Hershey.
Yes, and what we figured we'd discuss is, the thinking ahead with swap meet stuff, especially the fall. In our part of the country, the fall ones are actually the bigger ones, I would say, because of Hershey and Fall Carlisle. We have some good spring ones where other parts of the country, spring or winter events, you go to Turlock, the winter one is actually their biggest one because of the weather. So for us, fall is kind of like it's usually cooler out and all that. So and Hershey's just been that, that then forever. So we start planning now what we're gonna, how we're gonna logistically do the shows, what we're gonna bring, and what we're gonna shop for, and all that stuff. So we figured we'd do a discussion how we do some of that. If you're thinking about vending at any of those events, we say it in a lot of it when we discuss swap meets and car events. We say this, especially swap meets. We try and say this a lot. Participation is what's going to keep these swap meets going. So everybody's bitching on social media about how Carlisle or Hershey isn't what it used to be. And you got all the young guys running around trying to buy all the shit to resell, and they don't want to set up a booth.
Mm-hmm.
Get a freaking membership to the AACA and get a booth. That's all I could say. If you want the Hershey to continue and be good, we need to continue vending. And I made that decision years ago before IronTrap got bigger, where I was just sharing a booth with a friend, and then we got our own booth, and it was like, even though it's a process to get a membership and renew every year, it's worth it. Now we're another vendor that took up another vendor that used to be there that sold a ton of early Ford stuff, and we've continued that tradition. So we're hoping that by talking about some of this, I know we've had some people that vended at Carlisle or Hershey that were just because we were talking about it. So it's a great thing to do. So we start thinking about it now. Seriously now we start thinking about, because we're one of the things we're trying to do is thinking about like we've done pretty well with selling cars at Hershey and Carlisle in the fall. Never anything real high end, but we try and it does help bring people into your booth. It is a good spot, even though selling on the internet is by far easier. We've sold some cars at Carlisle and Hershey that was very easy. It was
the first day.
Yeah, so we start thinking about is there a car in our inventory or coming up that we're about to buy that would be a good example. So for right now, we have a few of them that are good examples. So we got that 38 coupe. That's a pretty good example. It's when you're thinking about cars to bring to Carlisle or Hershey, in my experience, especially now with the internet days, it needs to be priced right.
Yeah.
If you want to sell it, it needs to be priced to sell or in the ballpark. Because of the internet, people see cars in Facebook Marketplace. If you're looking for a project car, every second of the day when you refresh Facebook Marketplace, it's going to show you stuff that's similar to what you're probably trying to sell. So if you don't put it affordably, somebody's not even going to consider it. I saw one kind of like it on Marketplace, the same price, just, whatever. So you got to price it affordably, or you got to have something that's pretty interesting, I would say. Like that, we were talking about that 39 convertible coupe. They're pretty rare. The car's in pretty good shape, and it's really far along or almost done.
Yeah.
That would make somebody see that and be like, oh man, all that's left is the fun work on it, and they can drive it. And we just got to price it right. But I feel like Hershey is, Carlisle somewhat, but definitely Hershey is the place where you have people walking around from all over the world that are prepared to spend that kind of money.
Yes.
Carlisle, I don't see it as much, but Hershey, it's like, I know myself, I'm at Hershey, I usually am prepared to buy a car if I saw the one or something.
I feel like those guys are walking around Carlisle and shopping, but they're much more reserved.
Yes.
Because we do this as well. We hold back sometimes some of our better stuff from Carlisle to take to Hershey. Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of people when they walk around Fall Carlisle, they're trying to be more reserved because it's like, well, what if I walk up to something at Hershey that's like insane and I need this money? So it hurts Fall Carlisle a tiny little bit, but I feel like those guys if it's a good enough deal on something they really want, I think they'd pull the trigger on a better project vehicle.
Yeah. So I think it's a good place to bring stuff like that. It is a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it's a good place to bring it. And especially if you're somebody like us that's also selling parts, we kind of use the car as a way to draw people into our booth. It's like we don't get upset if the car doesn't sell at the end of the show, because it draws people in like crazy. Any car we've brought, it draws people in. So that's why it's like, oh, if we bring some kind of car and park it next to the booth or in the booth, it's going to get people just to come in and they're just going to look around at the car.
The DeLorean Roadster last year at Hershey was,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
so many people looked. It was just like a magnet pulling people towards our booth.
So that's, that was an example of that was just a car I was driving. That one was a little like bait and switch because people probably blasted.
I could have sold that thing like 1,000 times.
Well, you never told them a price.
Yeah.
If people blasted across the swap meet, because I do the same thing. I'll see something awesome 4 rows over, and you just beeline to it. So people probably saw that 32 Roadster and beeline to it thinking it was for sale.
Yeah.
And then it came over and looking, oh my God, this thing's amazing. And they, then they're going to Mike or Steve. Well, what do you want for the Roadster? Oh, it's not for sale. So that was a little bit of bait and switch. I wasn't trying to do that. I more just wanted to drive it there and enjoy driving it because the weather was good that week. But it's good to bring vehicles. So we've been thinking about like what vehicle do we bring. Our booth is a little difficult to do that. We have the space next to us. If it's opened up, we can park that in, and it works out really well. But that's not every year, depending on what's going on. So we have some space across from us that we've gotten friendly with the neighbor, and he will rent us space if need be, or we can park a car there. So that's another thing. But as far as like what parts we're thinking about bringing, or how we're thinking about, like Mike was saying, I don't know if we do it quite yet, but soon we start holding stuff back that actually we don't even put for sale on the website because we don't do it as much as we used to because we're getting so much in, and we, like Mike said, we have such a backlog of inventory that we can just spend a day or two digging on some pallets and turn up some more stuff.
Yeah, but last year was the first year we were like, usually start of September, the previous 4 or 5 years, I would take the whole month of September and just pull stuff out, price it, box it, it'd all be ready to go for Carlisle and Hershey. Last year, we were the least prepared because I literally just like the week before Carlisle just like ran around and just pulled out bins, and we actually did pretty well at both events. So I was just like pulling random stuff off the wall and out of bins without even really holding stuff back.
Yeah, so we definitely will do some of that. I'd also say that I've made it a practice over the last handful of years, and it's because I enjoy it when I go shop as a shopper. I try and bring 1 or 2 things from my personal collection that is stuff that I like, but for the right price, I'd probably sell it. It's not on the website. It's not for sale publicly. Yep. Probably if you came here any other time of the year and asked to buy it, I would say no. But I walk around and I always try and bring 1 or 2 things because I feel like when I go to Hershey or Fall Carlisle, there's especially Hershey, there's guys that have that like, that's the allure of Hershey, that there's this like holy crap stuff, or the like high test stuff that it's price stiff, but like if somebody really wanted it, and I've done that, and I've actually sold almost every year one of the like 2 or 3 things we bring. I brought years ago McCullough Supercharge, and I was like, nobody's gonna buy this thing. Like we sold it like pretty easily.
That was our first year after COVID selling at Hershey. We took that. There was like 3 or 4 high ticket items we brought, and all of them sold, and we couldn't believe it.
Sorry, there's some cabinets we're after on Marketplace, and Mike sent it to me last night. We're already on it, and I've gotten like 17 messages. Dude,
really?
Nick, our friend Nick, just texted, "Yo, you got to get on this." I'm like, "I'm on it." We're waited.
We're trying.
Anyways, so yeah, I try and pull some stuff off the shelf. Like last year, I pulled this little tiny Scott blower is the smallest one they offered, and I've never seen one. I bought it oddly enough off eBay for affordable. Didn't steal it, and I've just had it on the shelf because it was a good deal. And last year I was like, I don't know if I'll ever use that on anything. Why don't we just bring it? And it got a lot of interest. A lot of people picked it up, looked at it, and it didn't sell, but it was another thing that people that walked around Hershey, it gave them something neat to look at.
It's like a car, but on a smaller scale. You put a few really good things at the back of the booth. It draws everyone to walk in the tent.
And there's a lot of booths like that at Hershey that it's like you walk up and the guy's always got, there was a guy for years from Long Island. I think he's from Long Island. He's definitely from New York. He's from Long Island. They would have, and if you've been going to Hershey for a while, you might even know the guy that he used to put a Scott blower on his table, and he'd have a sign on it that said $1 a spin, because everybody who walked by would would spin the blower or touch it or look at it. So he started putting $1 a spin on it. And now he's laughed at that. So like that's the stuff that's memorable about Hershey. Seeing those like really cool items. The holy crap items are always really good. Some guys do bring show and tell stuff. There's some guys that I see that bring like old motorcycles and stuff like that, and they have it in their booth. It's probably the same idea. They're not really for sale, but if somebody was that crazy about it, the guy might sell it.
There's a bunch of cars like that too, because guys come out for the swap meet, and then they're also showing in the in the show on Friday. So a lot of the motorcycles, those dudes are showing the motorcycles Friday.
Yep.
But they camp basically on the grounds all week,
Yep.
shop the swap meet, and then they have their There's a bunch of guys in the brass era stuff that do that with cars too.
Yeah,
you'll see like brass era cars bopping around the swap meet.
Yeah, that part of it's really fun. So it's like a car show mixed with a swap meet. So that part's pretty cool. But that's one of the things I again with commenting about getting a booth and staying at Hershey. That's the stuff that a lot of people miss when they just go for one day. And guys rush in and they try to walk around, and like if you slow down and spend the whole like week there, you're going to see a lot more neat stuff that just casually you're going to slow down. You're going to go to dinner and come back at night, and there's guys bopping around in brass cars. If you went there and rushed in when the gate opened, you left at 3 or 4 o'clock, you don't even see any of that. So it's neat to see.
One thing I do want to, I don't spend the night at Hershey. I drive home every night. I want to stay one night because they walk through the car corral at night when there's no one there. It's like a empty parking lot. You just walk through and you can take the cars in a lot more because there's not like a million people buzzing around and trying to look at the same stuff you're looking at.
And it's funny. It doesn't happen from talking to everybody. It used to be a lot more of it going on, but like at nighttime like that, there's people that are. I mean, there's one booth I remember has like they're like have a full-on band. We pass, and it's like they're set up with lights with their tent, and there's guys like I don't know if they're a cover band or what they are, but there's like a full-on band, and then you'll see maybe 10, 15 people sitting around them just watching them play. It's like it's just a unannounced thing. They just do it. It's kind of neat, and it's like that's the stuff that I think used to happen a lot more at Hershey, and as the years, it's people have aged out and they're maybe not partying or hanging out as much, but like. It's neat. You could still walk around. And I think back in the day more, there used to be guys that would set up through the night that have lights on or whatever.
I feel like Carlisle's like that. I think a lot more people hang out into the evening at Carlisle than at Hershey.
So staying for the, even if you just come for every day and you stay into the evening or stay on the grounds or, whatever. A lot of my best memories at Hershey are afterwards, going out to dinner, coming back, and just sitting in a chair and chatting about what you found for the day or whatever. It's just fun. So, but as far as like stuff we're gonna bring, yes, we always try and bring a handful of like really cool items, whether it's something that normally isn't for sale or it's something we were on the fence about. We bring it out and we put a price on it, and a lot of times that stuff does sell because the people that are prepared to buy high test stuff are there.
And it may not sell that day or that week, but a lot of times we'll get a phone call from that person, a week later that like, hey, I was that guy looking at X, Y, and Z. I decided I want to pull the trigger, and then we'll sell it after the show.
Yep.
And we try to think about what sells, and we are prepared. It literally doesn't matter. Whatever. We always try and be prepared, and it's always wrong.
Yeah,
like we'll be like, we sold a ton of 34 stuff. We got to bring it, and then it's like everyone's asking for Model A parts. It's like whatever we bring, everyone's looking for what we left at home. It happens every year.
Yeah, if we don't bring any grills, then we're getting all kinds of people asking if we have an XYZ grill and it's at home, or
we bring a shit ton of grills and no one buys a single grill.
Yeah,
it's hurt the way these swap meets work. It's like just luck of the draw. You could think we're prepared every year, and there's stuff that doesn't sell that we think would sell every year.
I would say our booth is one of the few, if you're into the stuff that we're into, that has a good overall selection. So one thing we do try to do is bring some mechanical stuff, some body stuff that we know is popular. We bring the grills because they're fun to look at, and you do sell. A guy, I don't know how many times we've sold like a 32 grill to a person from overseas that's there, and they're looking for a 32 grill, and they know what they cost, and they're like, that's the one that matches my build, and then we sell it, and it's like, we don't got to bring 20 grills. You bring one or two, of these, and then we'll bring some speed equipment because everybody loves to look at speed equipment. But we've had years where we sold a crap ton of speed equipment, and other years we sold like one intake.
If I remember correct, one of the years we brought like a shit ton of speed equipment, and like the one side of the booth was just packed, and we sold like none. And it was just like, man, we brought all this speed equipment. You think you'd sell something?
I think sometimes
there's too much of it.
There's
sometimes.
a mental thing behind that because I do it too. If I walk by a booth that's got like this beautiful layout with all this good speed equipment, sometimes I don't even go in because like they're going to be expensive. But I've tried to get better at that because sometimes yes it is expensive, but it's something that's super rare that I would have to have and would pay the super expensive price because it's it's perfect for my build, or it's a holy grail item to put in the collection. So you got to go in those booths, or sometimes you're surprised there's that one sleeper item that's the other stuff's expensive and the guy's got that one thing you're kind of looking at and it's cheaper, affordable because they don't value it. So I'm sure that's happened with us times where we have stuff that's really expensive because we really like it, and then there might be another item that's priced more affordably and it goes. So always got to look, but we try and thinking of stuff to bring or different things like that for laying your booth out. Start thinking about it now. Definitely I would say bringing if you're doing Hershey for the first time, I think you're going to vend at Hershey for the first time, it is not, in my experience, it's not the place to bring your $1 bin or the bin that you just dump rusty junk onto a tarp and let people dig through. I think there's so many vendors and so much concentration of good stuff. Yes, you will sell some stuff, but if you sit there all day trying to sell that stuff, I think you're going to be disappointed because it just doesn't. In the first couple of years I did Hershey, I was doing some of that. I always had like $1 bins, $5 bins, and people just didn't want to dig. There's so much good stuff there that people don't have to work hard to look for good stuff. Yeah. So you get the scavengers, that they enjoy digging through the bins, but I don't think that's the place to sell that stuff. You kind of need to have it set up in a decent, shoppable way. You also really need to price your stuff because a lot of people, we found this, there's so much, they don't want to wait to ask you a price. If you're talking to somebody else and they got to wait for you, there's 1,000 booths, they're walking with friends that are continuing to walk. Yep. They just set it down and they walk away. It's happened to me a ton of times at Carlisle and Hershey where like, I really would like to get a price on this, and I stand there patiently. And you're waiting, and the person's not great at customer service, or they just don't see you, and you're just waiting. You go, you know what? I don't care that much. It's like, and you just walk away. So you got to price your stuff. Number one, price it so that it's somebody can read it and whatever, and B, kind of set it out so that it's a little bit shoppable. Dumping a rusty bin that's full of water on the tarp. You're not going to sell much. I think the only reason that works is you see people that do the like honor system there, and they have a little bin or the window of their car is open, and you stick the $1 in the window. Then it's like no effort. You can go do your thing, and you're still setting up. But I think with us, we've done well with just
and the pricey thing is nice as well because like say with like us, Steve helps us. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to really think about what anything's worth. It's written on the tag. It's there. So if like you and your buddies are doing it together, you can take the tag and keep track of what you sold. Mm-hmm. And if anyone's watching the booth, they don't have to like, the most annoying thing in the world is when you go to a booth and he's like, he just walked away. Let me call him. Then he's got to call him on the phone. He doesn't answer. And it's like, if you just price, you don't have to price everything, but price a majority of it.
It gives me anxiety because I'm standing at this booth asking about this item, investing all this time, and you're like, there's good stuff probably 2 booths ahead, and you're standing there waiting. I can't find his phone. And it's no offense to the boomers, but like half the time they don't know how to use their fucking phone. Yeah. So it's like they're like, let me see. I don't know how to. Let me get my glasses. I'm like, let me see how to get a hold of John. Oh no, that's my neighbor John. Yeah. And you're just like, Oh my God. And then the guy doesn't answer the phone. And then the guy can't figure out how to turn his phone on. And my head's about to explode because some dude ahead of me just bought a 32 grill for 50 cents. And you're like, ah.
I'm sure people do that when Steve was in the booth because a lot of times people offer something. Steve will call just to make sure he's not underselling
We're
it for too
pretty
much.
good because you watch your phone. You
Yeah, I answer, but I'm sure people are doing the same thing. As soon as Steve pulls his phone out, they're like, "Oh fuck, god damn it."
But like that's the worst when the person's like, he doesn't have a price. I have no idea. And then it's like, there's all these hurdles for him to even tell you it's too expensive.
Yeah.
So please, if you can, price your stuff. It's very helpful to everybody. I get it sometimes. It's just like filth in the bottom of the bin, and you don't feel like pricing it. But like, at least just tell your buddy that whole bin, I don't even care what you get for it. Just throw a price off the top of your head. You know, like give them carte blanche to like just sell it for whatever. And it happens a lot with like people's wives are watching it, and the wife's like, I don't know what he wants for that. I gotta call him, and you're just like, and then he's not picking up because he's out shopping.
I always feel so bad for the wives because they're like, "I'm sorry, I know nothing." He said he was going to the bathroom.
I've bought stuff though sometimes from wives that were annoyed.
Oh yeah, they're like whatever you want to give me.
Yeah, that are annoyed because their husband didn't price it, and she told him to price it, and she goes on the. I bought a 32 V8 radiator one time that there was no price on it. He's like, I told him to price everything in the booth. Every year he sticks me at the booth, and then I got somebody, and I'm not. He doesn't even keep his phone on him half the time. You know what? It's his problem. What do you want to give me for it? And I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. I don't want to like. She's like, how's $50 or no? I think it was cheaper. I think it was $15 or $20. And I'm like, you sure? And she's like, I don't care. This will teach him. I'm like, okay, here's the $20 or whatever it was, and I got a pretty nice flathead V8 32 specific radiator. I'm like, all right, cool. And he probably came back. You're kidding me? That was $300. It's like, I told you, price it. So it's kind of funny. So we try and price our stuff ahead of time. You know, that's one of the preparation things. If that's the point of the discussion here, is taking the time to prepare and price your stuff ahead of time. That's one of the. We don't do a lot of swap meets, but the big ones, I think it's very important to have your stuff priced because there is so many vendors and you lose a lot of customers that just don't feel like asking. There's a lot of people that are also, I used to be like that, that are shy. They don't, you feel a certain way about a guy telling you a price then, and it's way out of what you'd want to pay. And then you get that awkward thing of them trying to sell it to you, and the guy's like, well, you know, what do you want to offer me? And you're just like, that's 3 times what I was thinking. And
now I've been doing this so much. I'll ask anybody a price on anything, and they tell me the price. I go, all right, see ya, and just walk away.
I just go, okay, thanks. Yeah. You know, it's a little more. Every now and then you get a vendor that's a real pushy sales, and they go, oh, well, what do you want? And I've actually, that happened last year. I think it was last year. There's E&J headlights I got.
That's right, yeah.
So like last year. Or was that 2 years ago? Yeah. So E&J headlights. I walked by a booth. This was maybe third. It was like the last day it was the second to last day. A lot of people had been by this guy's booth. He had a booth in Chocolate Field, which is one of the better fields, and one of the chocolate fields. And he had them literally sitting out front. E&J headlights, if you guys aren't familiar, they're really good old accessory lights. They're bullet shaped. They're just real cool looking. Very sought after, quite expensive. So the guy had them sitting out front. They had beautiful black lacquer on them. They were one of the nicest sets I've ever seen. And I walked by, and the guy, I walked by, and he didn't have a price on them. And I was like, and I walked past him, and then I was like, and it was a really big booth. I'm like, I should just ask him. I turned around, came back, asked him, and he gave me a price that was actually kind of retail.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm like, that's a little more than I want to spend. Thanks, though. And the guy like went in his super sales mode because I think he had been saying this price or more for like 2 days, and nobody had really like made an offer because he was just, you don't want to offer somebody half of what their thing is. The guy's like really, really pushing on me hard. He's like, well, just make me an offer. And I'm like, man, I'm like at half of what you're at, for me to buy them. I'm sorry. That's just, for me to buy them. He's like, so then he comes up like, I don't know, $300 or $500 from what I just said a half. And that's still a pretty good price. My price was like really good for me. So he comes up a little bit more, and I'm like, yeah, all right. I'd probably do that. or I at least looked them over better.
Yeah.
And we came to agreement. I bought them, and it was like, sometimes if you come back, if the guy's that pushy to get you to make an offer, like, it's almost worth doing the little bit of haggling. He's setting himself up at that point. If you say a price that offends him, it's like you were trying to say, thanks, but no thanks. So
Yeah.
I said that, and the guy was like, oh, no, I can't do that. And I'm like, all right, that's why I didn't.
You did ask me to offer, to be fair.
And then then we ended up buying them, and I brought them back, and I actually sold them and made a couple bucks, a little bit over that. But like, I don't even know if I got what he was originally asking for them for our retail price. He was just shooting for the moon. So we try and think about that when we're pricing stuff at Hershey. If it's really, really rare, really, really good, we do kind of put the Hershey price on it because you're going to get retail buyers that will pay that.
Yeah.
But like on the normal, everyday stuff, we try not to just put the Hershey price on every item in the booth.
No, we're in the business of selling stuff. So, I mean, if you think about all the, eBay prices or whatever, but there's usually fees, shipping costs, all that stuff.
That's what drives the eBay prices up.
So we usually mark stuff well below that to, we want to sell stuff at Hershey. We don't just come to hang out, We'd like to move some inventory while we're there.
Yes. So thinking ahead of, that's the selling bit of it. But for the second half of this conversation, the buying part of it, I'm already thinking about, I usually about this time of year, I start my list in my phone that is my Hershey shopping list, and I start thinking about stuff that I'd like to look for. That
you go nuts is making lists for each car, right?
Some years, depends how bored I am ahead of Hershey.
Yeah.
If we're going on a road trip right ahead of Hershey and I'm sitting in a truck for 10, 15 hours, then I make a list for every car. But I usually try and make a list of stuff that I'm, it's like the stuff that you forget about.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I hate at Hershey. I get overwhelmed looking at all the candy, all the good stuff, and then you forget that you're like, crap, I needed a freaking window crank.
The small stuff.
Yeah, like the stuff like that not as fun or, whatever, and you get overwhelmed. So I start looking for making a list and thinking ahead of, like, what's the stuff that I probably wouldn't find at a local swap meet or even at Carlisle, but might be there. So at Hershey, the nice thing is they have that directory, and a lot of people in the directory put what they focus on or what they sell. So, like, for instance, we just did a private collection that we were buying some stuff from. I think that video's out in the week in the life of.
It'll be out Tuesday.
Anyways, we went to a private collection, semi-private collection, and we bought some stuff off the top that they were leftovers from them restoring high-end and orphan cars. And got a bunch of banjo steering wheels, and they're all cores, but there was a 39 Nash 4-spoke, just a really neat looking wheel. It's not insanely valuable, it's just cool. And it was missing the horn button. So we took a photo of the restored car there, and I'm like, I even said to Mike, I'm like, now I got something fun to search for at Hershey. I did it last year, the year before. I was like looking up Studebaker vendors to go look for whatever it was. So I'll look up maybe there'll be some Nash vendors, or the Nash Club of America will be set up there.
Yeah.
And you go with a picture of that steering wheel. I go, do any of you guys, I'm hunting for a horn ring and a horn button for one of these wheels. And it's just fun to do that. We sold, same idea at Hershey, we sold that crappy Durant.
Yeah.
Because one of our friends stopped at the Durant booth, Durant Club of America. They weren't even selling anything. They just had a tent and a table.
A lot of the clubs do that.
They're just hanging out.
Club space.
So they were just there, and my friend stopped by on my behalf and said, hey, he just saw him and thought of us and said, hey, I know a guy that's got like a parts car, a rough one. They go, oh, yeah, we'd definitely be interested. And next thing you know, because of that, I found the guy and he bought it. And it's like, where else on the planet are you going to be able to go and just walk up and talk to like 25 Durant people?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so with the Nash steering wheel, I'm like, well, I'll look at all the Nash vendors. I'll go to their booth, and you know that person, if they list it in the directory each year that they do Nash stuff, even if they don't have a lot of Nash stuff, they're interested. So you say, hey, do you have any Nash stuff? You know a guy that has a horn ring. I'm desperately looking for one or whatever. So it's like, I always put a couple of those things that are just fun to go search for, because if I've been through the swap meet a bunch, and sometimes I do it on now it's Thursday.
Yeah.
On the last day or the second half of the last day, I'll be like, let me just go on a little treasure hunt. And I'll open the directory up and write those few things down on my phone, and I'll just, zigzag around the swap meet to those people for fun, just looking for those items. So I do usually put those in my phone. I put sometimes the stuff that I really need, and you kind of forget about, especially with us or myself. I have so many cars. There's stuff that I like. If it's a car that's like kind of on the back burner, I forget that you forget that the right front fender is kind of crappy, and you like a better one. And you just don't think about it because it's off in the corner and it has a fender on it, but you forgot that when the last time you were working on it, inspected, it's got a bunch of mud in that fender.
Or it's like you're missing one piece of garnish molding for a car that's
Yes.
5 years from being worked on.
Yes, and you're at the swap meet, and you can't remember if it's the left front or the right front window molding that you're missing, and then you don't want to buy the wrong one. So.
And the other thing I will say, if you go there with a group of friends and you all have iPhones, Matt and I do this, share notes between each other.
Yes.
So like Matt and I do this before Hershey. He sends me a list of what he's looking for. That way, if I'm walking on a booth and I know he needs 3 window garnish molding, and it's like, I have 3 passengers, but I need a driver. So instead of me going, let me call him, I don't know what he needs, blah, blah, blah.
If you're a boomer and you don't know how to use your phone, have your grandchild or your child show you how to use it. It's actually very simple. It's built. If you have an iPhone, it's literally a built-in app. It's a notes app, and you can write all this stuff in it. I use it. I also use it to write down spaces for stuff that I bought or whatever. But in the notes, if you make your own notes list, you can actually, there's a way that you could share that note, or you can allow someone to see that note on their iPhone. So that's what I do, is I add Mike to that. And then when he's walking around, if he sees it and he looks on the phone and goes, oh, he's looking for right front, this is left front, he doesn't have to call me, he doesn't have to look. He knows that if it's cheap, if he just buys it, it
doesn't matter.
He doesn't have to call me. And it's really helpful, because if you have a group of friends, you can just look at your phone, you know what it is, and it might save you a little bit of hassle. I know everybody hates technology, but also these are instances where it's super helpful.
Oh, yeah.
And you could share that in the notes. It's a good thing if you have an iPhone. Really, really handy. I use it at Hershey especially because it's so big and overwhelming.
Yeah, you don't want to be that friend that you're sitting down at dinner that night and he goes, yeah, man, I couldn't find any of XYZ. And you go, oh, shit, I had one of those. I was looking at one of those the other earlier.
It wasn't right front, was it? And I go, yeah, it was.
God! I literally watched a dude buy one after I walked away from it. So.
Yeah. Or you send them on the next morning, they go on the goose hunt, and then they get there and go, oh, no, I sold that yesterday.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, God. So I usually start with the list. I start with a list of, like, wish list of stuff that's maybe...
Have you started one yet?
I don't know if I did. Actually, I probably didn't. That Nash wheel was kind of like got me thinking on that. So I'll usually start a list. Sometimes I look at my personal collection of good stuff, and like taillight lenses are a really good example. I'll have like a pair of airflow taillight lenses, and the one bezel is like so-so. And if I had to use it, I would. But I just put a note like single airflow lens. And sometimes you'll be at, I'll add a booth that has a bunch of those, and maybe they do have a lens, and it's kind of expensive. But you go, you know what? That's better than mine. I'll buy it for full retail. I'll sell mine later on, and it'll end up getting me the one I need, for better one for
What's
cheap.
the lens that you need? One with that fin on it.
Oh, that is, we just looked at one of them. Is that Nash also? Crap. I don't know. Maybe we'll drop it.
Oh, it is Nash. Yeah, it's like 34 Nash or something like that.
Yeah, and it's literally got like a shark fin on it, sticking out of glass. I bought a single at Carlisle.
Super thin, too.
Yeah, I bought one at Carlisle, and it's just like ridiculously cool. And it would be neat as a single taillight in the center on a hot rod. But if I had a pair, it could be really neat on a like Art Deco
sedan delivery.
Somebody will probably freaking break them off is my problem. Or a custom or something, it would be really, really neat. So that's the fun item. I put what it is in my phone, because if I go to a booth and you see the guy has similar Nash or Hudson, or it might even be, it's Hudson, I think.
That's what it is, yeah.
And I see a guy selling Hudson stuff. I think last year I actually went through the book and found Hudson guys and was going around asking, and I didn't find any. But that's a good thing. I'll put it in my phone. I wouldn't even be thinking of it. And if you're standing at a booth and you look at your thing, every now and then you go, oh, that guy's Hudson. Hey, do you know of any guys, do you have any friends that have 32 or 34 Hudson taillights. Oh, I got a buddy. He's over in, XYZ shares a booth. He might have some at home, or even making that connection. That's the place you can do it. So, I think I have some of that.
I do it for the parts business too, because as we do these estates, we end up with 3 lefts and no rights.
Yeah.
A single finned head.
Yep.
A lot of times. So sometimes before Hershey, as I'm packing stuff up, I'll make mental notes and then make a list. Like walking around. Every estate we do, we always end up with single heads.
Yes.
Always.
And we've even done a couple times like the personal shopper thing for someone in Australia, Japan, Germany, where we have a relationship with them, and they say, hey, I can't make it over, but I'm looking for, here's my wish list. I had one guy that was really great to deal with in Australia, that he actually gave me what he wanted to spend up to on each of those items, which was fantastic, because I wasn't making a gut. I wasn't just guessing what I think he would want to pay. So he kind of was like, this item, whatever it was, a 40 Ford steering wheel, I'll pay up to 200 US for it, or whatever it was. So I knew when I was standing there that if I bought it for 100, I could make enough money. I could sell it for 150 to him. I make $50 for my time. He gets it for less than his price, whatever. So that was really handy. So I've done that, and the same thing. I had the lists with the guy's name. Here's the things he was looking for. I checked them, and I knocked off most of his stuff at Hershey because it was actually kind of common stuff that he had there that we didn't have in stock, and we were able to put together a few more things, and then we created a pallet and shipped him. I think it was him and a couple friends. I sold a ton of stuff to, and we shipped it over. So it works for that. So if you need a personal shopper, we can do that for a fee. We'd be happy to do that. It's actually really fun because I'm shopping for stuff that I might not be looking for myself, but somebody else is, and it gives me...
And what's more fun than spending other people's money? I got to do it every year at Carlisle and Hershey.
Yeah. The treasure hunting, though, is fun.
Yeah, it is.
But I have I'm trying to think of... I don't have a lot of stuff right now. I'm probably going to start looking for... I'm starting to think about, it's probably a year or two off, that Lincoln Continental. So I think this year I'm going to look over the Continental for some stuff that it's maybe missing or not as good. We got a ton of extra parts with the Continental, so I'm probably going to start looking over that and thinking of some stuff maybe that I could use for it. So this year at Hershey, if I'm walking around, because that stuff's going to be a little more expensive. I know what I definitely need, and I'm not just on a whim buying expensive stuff. Like, for instance, that car is a 41. I really want to probably put 37 to 39 Zephyr headlights and buckets on it. So if I can I have a couple pieces our friend Nick gave me or traded me, maybe like a bucket and a lens or something. I think
we have 2 buckets.
2 buckets and maybe 1 lens. So it's like, that's a great example. That's kind of expensive. 39 Zephyr stuff is expensive. So if I have 2 buckets, 1 lens, and 1 stainless, if I go and buy 2 lenses for top dollar and already have one, then it's kind of a bummer, because it's like, oh man. Or you buy one stainless and you forgot that your other piece of stainless is actually really crappy and you could have used 2. So having those notes, I'll be going through the Continental, looking at it and going, okay, these are the things I'd like to have. This is the stuff I'm missing. Yeah. I'm planning to put a 51 Mercury dash in the 39 Merc this winter. I have most of the stuff for that dash, but I don't have all of it, and some of it's maybe not perfect or could be better, so I'll put a note. I'd like to have a better glove box door, whatever it is, thing.
Yep.
You have those notes, and when you're walking around, you can just, write down what you need. I think those are... We luckily at the that last estate in Long Island, the 38 convertible, I need a ton of stuff. Not a ton. I could use a lot of better stuff.
Yeah.
And we actually got most of that. That was stuff that was on my list last year, the stainless for the body, the quarter and door. We got that. So that luckily can check that off.
Yep.
But there's, some of that stuff, there's different, a lot of times dash and interior stuff. That's the stuff I forget about. It's like, crap, I forgot I needed an ashtray for XYZ.
It's always funny, though, at the later days of those swap meets, like Friday at Carlisle and Thursday at Hershey, Matt will always come back with a bag full of just smalls. Because he's been, like, walking again and digging through bins. And he's like, look at all these cool knobs I found and all these cool switches. And that's the stuff that people not overlook, but forget about when you're putting your car together. It's all that the icing on top of the cake, the little knobs and the switches and all that stuff.
Yep, and that reminds me, I have to go through. We have a bin actually upstairs here, a set of drawers, old industrial drawers, and we have all of our headlight switches, toggle switches, starter buttons, starter switches, knobs, all that stuff in there for putting a dash together. And we've been putting enough cars together that I'm starting to get low in starter switches and different stuff. So I know at Spring Carlisle, I found a guy that had all these bins of new old stock aftermarket like starter buttons. And they were like $1 a piece, and I grabbed like 3, 4, 5 of them. So I need to go through again for Fall Carlisle and Hershey. Yep. And what do I need? Are we low on headlight switches? Because there's now as we're building more cars, we've actually figured out which buttons and switches work best, and you start looking for them. So now I have in my phone, that's what we're low on. And I Spring Carlisle, I didn't actually have a list, so I actually called Steve and was like, "Can you run upstairs to see is it starter buttons that we're low on right now for us for putting the cars together?" And he looked, and I bought some. So I try and look through some of that stuff because there's nothing worse than February. I'm putting a car together, and I have to go on eBay and spend $25 plus $25 in shipping. Maybe that's too much, but $10 for shipping for something that I saw for a bin of 20 of them for $1 a piece at Hershey. And you're like, God, if I would have just bought them there.
Yep.
And you're paying that premium, so it's good to buy that kind of stuff.
That's why the tool guys do so well. The zip tie guys at Hershey, because got to stock up on zip ties while you're there.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't. Is there anything for your car that you're?
So I'm having I might change all the gauges out in my car.
I think I'm going to do the same in the 38 actually.
Yeah.
So that we have parallels here.
All the gauges don't work. Like all of them need to be redone. Basically, we were really hoping the oil pressure gauge worked, and it does not. It started losing its mind, and it goes to 0, then it goes to 100, then it hangs in the middle, and it's all over. So I do have a set of coffin gauges, Stuart Warner coffin needle gauges at home. I need to look at what I have and what I'm missing. I need to find a Speedo because Stuart Warner didn't make a coffin needle Speedo.
No, you need? I have one in
32 Packard.
Yeah, I have one in the
Pagoda City Coupe.
Pagoda City Coupe. Yeah.
So I haven't decided if I want to run those gauges or not, but I need to start looking for other gauges.
And for me, on the flip side with the 38, I think I'm going to just change. I put those retro aftermarket ones,
and they all suck,
and they're pieces of shit. I had one bad out of the box at Speedway. Fuck you, sorry, Speedway. I know we don't do a partnership with them, but your gauges you sell suck. These gauges, one right out of the box, bad. Painful process of getting one replaced, and they did replace one for me. I've driven the car for 2 summers, and now the tack just stopped working, and now it's just exhausting. Now it's well. I bought the new gauges so it'd be easy, and I didn't go through the process. And I'm like, I could have just pieced together cool actual vintage gauges.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna redo the dash, and I'm on the flip side. What I'm looking for, I'll step up. I'm looking for the guy that got the full row of 34 LaSalle gauges or something really cool, and they're $2,000, but they're fucking all redone, and I can just put them in the car.
I mean, I'd step up for a full redone set of wings gauges or something cool for my car.
Do I have a deal for you?
No. God damn it. Yours aren't redone, though.
You're going to work for free for me for a while.
Damn it.
No, So, same idea. So if I could come across some gauges, that's a good example of, where you're like, you know what, I'd probably step up if a guy had that there.
Yeah, the biggest thing is I'd like to put a tack in that car, but the hard part is I'd love to find a Stuart Warner tack drive setup for a flathead, but they're expensive.
I might be able to hook you up.
Does he have a deal for me today.
I might be able to hook you
up.
Yeah.
But it's just stuff I'm looking for in the future, because this winter, we're probably going to blow my car apart and fix some stuff on it. It's like those GM gauges don't work. We've had problems. I can't find the right temps center for the electronic temp gauge to fit the head, and it's just if I just go to mechanical everything, it makes everything way easier.
And the thing is, we kind of had a discussion. Do you love those gauges enough to spend $2,000 to redo them? That's where we've been dealing with Williamson in the Midwest, and he's great to deal with. But as expected, any gauge place is it's expensive. I mean, it's a labor.
Any specialty,
and it's not that he is. I don't value it. It's just a part of the hobby that there's nobody doing it. There's no competition, so you got to pay what you got to pay. So it's we had that conversation where he's like, I don't know, and I'm like, Well, he can do them, and he could probably match whatever senders you need, but be prepared. Do you
It's
love
gonna
them
hurt.
enough to be spending $2,000
Yeah.
or $1,500 on doing these gauges? And that's like best case scenario.
Yeah.
So you're like, nah, not really. So
And I think I have almost all the Stuart Warner stuff already.
Okay.
I know I have a mechanical temp gauge. It's in the car right now.
Yep.
Zip tied to my steering column. I'm pretty sure I have oil pressure. I have amp. I think I have a fuel gauge already. And so the only things I would need to find is a 32 Packard Speedo and then a tack of some vintage that has a coffin needle. So it's like, I think I'm almost all the way there, but I'm not sure.
And that's also one of those things that if you found everything but the tack or the Speedo, maybe just that one gauge you could send to Williamson.
Yeah.
And they could put a needle on it for you and redo it,
Exactly,
do it.
yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, you're spending a little bit of money, but everything else was decent.
Yep.
And you're just paying for that one gauge and it completes the package.
Exactly.
Or if it's like the tack, it doesn't exist and he can create one.
Yeah.
It's
I'd
kinda-
also take a Stuart Warner insert panel for that Navigator. Like one of the factory options that they had.
Yeah, yeah.
Because obviously, if I change it to black gauges, the insert that I made doesn't really match as well.
And that's where the conversation we had in the recent podcast was like, your car's a work in progress.
Yeah.
No big deal if you got to change the insert or change the gauges because you didn't finish the car and then decide
Yeah.
that. So you can do that. So that gives you stuff to hunt
Exactly,
for.
yeah.
I think body-wise, you got what you got.
Yeah, the only thing I need is garnish molding. I've been looking for
Oh,
garnish molding
God.
for 5 years.
You need to put that sign around your neck like this. The guys do it. It's
I'm
like,
just gonna buy. Someone reproduces it. I should just buy the reproductions and be done with it.
Could you cut up?
No, it's too. It's. I could cut up stock, but the holes are in a different spot, so you got to fill the other holes. The reproductions are $500. For a set of two-door sedan, I think it's the same length as a two-door sedan. Two-door sedan garnish molding for 34s are still like $800 for a pair.
Oh,
And then I gotta cut them and
I forgot
re-weld
they were
them.
expensive.
Yeah, they're not cheap. So it's like, might as well just buy the It's not that big of a deal.
Right. Well, I was going to say, could you fit another car? Could you get from a 44, no, I mean not 40, 39 Deluxe or some other car
Yeah.
and you use the bottom half piece? Or could you get, like, actually, now we're going on a tangent. Could you find some cool car that's not even Ford and has a decorative one or something neat?
That's true, yeah.
And they're cheap, like a Nash, and you buy them at Hershey for $15.
I'm gonna add that to the list.
Yeah, that's it. And we're brainstorming. This
I
is live.
I do have a good friend that's pretty good at TIG welding that could add
Yeah.
and lengthen and
Yeah,
fill holes.
we could do whatever. That's
Yeah.
no problem. But that could be kind of neat, and then that solves your money problem because if you're looking for the cost, if you're looking for something that's not that desirable,
Yeah.
a GM or an off-brand thing, but it has a cool garnish molding, then
Yeah,
it's
and
like-
for reference, 34 Cabriolet garnish molding is like $2,500 for a pair. I had someone offer me a wood grain set for like $3,000 to $4,000, and it hurt. I think I paid $3,000 to $4,000 for the body in a pile. So I'm not spending that on garnish molding. It hurts way too
Yep,
much.
and he got it ripped off at that price even.
Yeah,
So I think that's the big. There for a while I was looking for like the door for the 3-window.
yep.
But I got that. Most of my project cars, I have a lot of the stuff, so I'm not really getting to the point now where I have most of my project cars.
I think last year at Carlisle was like that too, or not last year. The spring, the list wasn't like big stuff. It was all like small.
Yeah.
Not knick-knacky, but
The Lincoln's probably the next one on the list that has some of that, like odds and end type stuff.
bumpers. What's the bumper that you need? That you have one of?
Yeah, it's a Hudson 37 or 9 Hudson.
Yeah,
Bumper.
you have one. You
I
need
have one. I'd like to find a nicer one, so I should put that on the list. And again, I should look at my 38 convertible because it has 41 bumpers, but one of them our friend Pete gave me that was bent, and I pressed it out, but it's not as good as I would like. When I make the car nicer, I'd like that better.
Is one of them Ford script too?
They both are, yeah. But it's the front one. They have a different curvature,
Yeah.
so I need like a front. And that's one of those things I need to put on my phone because if I'm walking up to a guy that has one, you go, which one is messed up? Is it the front or the rear? So I can just look at my phone and have your thing, and you know what you need. And I usually try and look at it like every morning, or if we're sitting at lunch, take a break and you're eating lunch, just scroll your phone or your notes list and just remind yourself like, oh crap, I was looking for that or that. Or maybe you see it and you go, oh man, I just saw one like an hour ago, and you can dart back and buy that
Yeah.
XYZ, and hopefully somebody else didn't buy it. So
And always use your phone. I take photos of parts and space numbers. I actually have to go through my phone after Carlisle and Hershey every year because there's like a bunch of just like space number photos, and it's like, what was this for? But I try and take photos to remind myself maybe there's something there that maybe not a good deal. It's full blown retail, but it's like at the end of the week I might come back and try and haggle a little to buy.
yeah, that happens a lot where people we have customers do that with us. They're like, I really need it, but Hershey's so big. Let me see if I can find a better deal on
Yeah.
one. And then I don't get offended by that. We do the same thing. You're like, I'll buy it for that price, but I also don't want to buy it for that price and walk 2 booths down and there's one for like half of that.
Yeah, we don't offer refunds. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think that's good with your phone. You take the photo and you know where it's at, and if it's not, it's one of those deals. You won't be super sad if somebody bought it for retail, but if it's the end of the week and that was the only one, you go back and you bought it. I bought last year. I did that. I bought at the end of the week that Caddy dash.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's like a V12 Cadillac dash a guy had, and it wasn't cheap, and it was kind of pricey. And I walked by it all week, and I took a photo of it, and I walked by his booth a couple times by accident, and then the space number. And we were like packing up. It was Thursday.
Was it Hershey last year?
Yeah, it was the end of the day. He was only like 3 or 4 rows over from us, but it was the end. It was literally like Thursday afternoon, and we were packing up, and I kept talking about the dash. I'm like, man, I should go buy it. And I think he had like $1,800 or something. I'm like, I can't spend that on it. It's like,
and I eventually gave up and got tired of him talking about it. I said, just go buy the fucking dash and just go away. I can't listen to you talk about this anymore.
Whatever it was, I walked over and looked at it again for the last time, and I was like, you know what? If I can get him down, I had never made him an offer because it was a bit higher. So I think I ended up getting him down to like $900 or something. And again, that's that Hershey mentality where you're spending so much money if you're buying a Hershey that you then start at the end of the week you start thinking a lot more about what you're buying, and you're not thinking about that it is actually a good deal. So at the end of the week I was like, man, I've spent so much money this week, like I really shouldn't buy this dash. And then and especially because I didn't have a need for it. And then so I ended up getting the guy down to like $900, $1,000. Then I got the thing home and I started thinking about it. I'm like, this freaking speedometer is V12 34 Lincoln, whatever it was, or Caddy only.
Yep.
And it's a $500-$700 gauge on its own. Then we have the gauge panel, all the pieces, and then the dashboard. I'm like, what was I thinking? This was like a fantastic deal. And just at that moment, I was spending so much money. So I ended up getting it. That was a good example. I went back. It didn't sell because it was priced pretty stiff. I got him down into the range where I wanted to be, $1,900, and it ended up being a very good deal. And now it's just sitting here for the right car. But it's you're not going to come across a 34 V12 Cadillac dash set, gauge set, just even any day of the week. Like that guy doesn't have that sitting on eBay. It's just sitting in his garage and he listed it. So that's the beauty of Hershey. People bring out stuff that was really good. I think the guy was from California and he drove out with a car and his trunk just full of high-end items. That was one of those guys. He's just selling like that Caddy dash. He had like Duesenberg stuff. He had Rolls Royce pieces on, and everything was nice. He had like 2 tables of all shit that was like $1,000 and up, and he could fit it in the trunk of his car. I think he's actually probably doing it right.
Oh yeah.
He drove out in a rental car. He probably sold that few things to me. He made some money. He hung out. He probably bought some pieces he needed, and he drove home.
I think that's why he said he needed to sell it too. He's like, I don't know if I can fit this in my car to make it back to California.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to take it back to California. What do you whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, this guy's willing to deal. And that was the end of the week. He probably wasn't that friendly the first beginning.
Oh, definitely.
So that's some of our list of stuff. It's the fun things we're looking for. I'm sure we could ramble for hours about more things we're looking for, but we wanted to have this discussion, get your brain thinking of fall swap meet season. And if there's something you're looking for or you need, start the list now. Start thinking about it. And also, most importantly, start gathering the good stuff. We all want to buy and trade our junk. So, like, bring some good stuff out for Fall Carlisle and Hershey, because I might be a buyer. Somebody else might be a buyer, and we can have fun trading and
Wares,
buying, trading money and cool stuff around.
We should have started the podcast off with this, but our Fall Carlisle spaces are N3 to N6, I'm pretty sure. We're in the very beginning of the N row, I know that. And then our Hershey spaces are C4T 25 to 27.
And you can find us at Carlisle easily by
Gate
we are
1.
backed up Gate 1, and we are backed right up to the Coker semi.
Yeah.
If you go on the back side of their semi, we're right there. Hershey is quite easy because we are right in the row is where Brookville is located. They have two booths, but it's one of the Brookville booths.
The
is
smaller
right, small.
one without the semi.
Yeah, the one without the semi.
Or
is
light
there.
pole 33 is the easiest way.
That's what we always tell people at Hershey. The cars we like, the light poles are right by. So light pole 33, 34 are all right near us. You're in the realm, but 33 is the one that's very close to us. And you look for that, and you can, you're within 2 or 3 rows if you start wandering. So make sure you come. I'm sure we'll have more discussions about Carlisle and Hershey coming up. But this is a fun one. We're already getting excited. It's not even fall yet. It's still hot as hell, and it's August. But we're
dreaming of swap meets already.
Dreaming of swap meets and the fun of finding treasure. So thank you guys for following. I hope we enjoyed this podcast. As always, make sure you subscribe. If you're on Spotify or one of those, give us a review. Let us know what you think of us, because it helps other people find us and keep us doing the podcast. So thank you guys for following along. Appreciate it. Catch you later.